3 months ago, I was finishing my shift at the hospital when I saw something that still haunts me. A 68-year-old gentleman, let's call him Rajesh, had been admitted with progressive severe dementia. Within the last 48 hours, he couldn't even recognize his wife. But here is what broke my heart. His wife Priya stood by his bedside worrying about unpaid bills, mortgage payments, utility bills, and care home deposits. She had the money, £50,000 sitting in their joint bank account, but the bank had frozen it. She was his wife for last 40 years, the mother of his children, but in the eyes of UK law, she had zero authority. The bank said no, the building society said no, even their financial advisor couldn't help her. They were locked out of their own life, all because they were missing one single legal document. A document that cost less than a nice dinner out but protects everything you have ever built. That's when I realized this piece of paper is more important than any ISA, any investment portfolio, any pension you could ever set up. Because without it, all of that becomes worthless the moment you can't access it yourself. I am Dr. Suman. I am an NHS consultant here in the UK, and I am also an NRI who moved from India back in 2015. Over the years, I have built a tax-free investment portfolio of over £100,000, and I have documented every step of that journey on this channel. But here is what I wish someone had told me on day one, before I even open my first ISA. None of that wealth matters if you don't have the legal authority to access it when you need it most. So in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what that critical document is, the two types of protection you need, the mistakes that get 50,000 application rejections every year, and the exact step-by-step process to set this up in just 15 minutes. But first, let me destroy the most dangerous myth in the UK financial system. The myth that nearly cost Priya everything. The myth of next of kin. So let's talk about this next of kin myth. Because I guarantee right now, many of you watching this are thinking, but Suman, I am married. My spouse can handle everything if something happens to me, right? Wrong. Completely, legally, dangerously wrong. Here is the brutal truth that the UK legal system doesn't advertise. Being someone's next of kin, whether you are their spouse, their parent, their adult child, gives you zero legal authority to make financial and health decisions on their behalf if they don't have mental capacity. The bank will say no, the building society will say no, and here is what shocked me the most. Doctors are not legally obligated to follow your family's wishes about your medical care. They will consult with your family out of courtesy, out of good practice, but legally they don't have to listen to a word your loved ones say. And here is another trap that catches thousands of couples every year: joint bank accounts. You might think, we have a joint account, so my partner can access the money. But when one account holder loses mental capacity, the bank has the legal right to freeze that account or severely restrict it to protect the vulnerable person's assets. So even if it's your money, even if you earned it together, your capable partner can suddenly be unable to pay mortgage, the bills, or even the care home cost you desperately need. So what's the solution? How do you actually give your family the legal authority they need? There is only one legal document in the UK that solves this problem. It's called a lasting power of attorney, or LPA for short. And LPA is you, while you are still capable and have mental capacity, formally appointing one or more trusted people to make decisions on your behalf if you ever can't. Think of it like this: you are giving your family the legal key to your life. Without that key, they are locked out, no matter how much they love you, no matter how long you have been together. With an LPA, your chosen person, called your attorney, can step in immediately. They can speak to your bank, they can pay your bills, They can talk to your doctors. They have the legal authority to act on your behalf. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Suman, I'm only 35, I'm healthy, I will sort this out when I'm older. That's exactly what Rajesh thought when he was in his 30s. He was 68 now. He went for a routine checkup on a Monday. By Wednesday, he couldn't remember his own name. Dementia, stroke, a car accident, a sudden illness, these things don't send you a calendar invite. They don't wait until you are ready. But here is the cruel catch. You can only create an LPA while you still have mental capacity. Once you have lost it, even temporarily, it's too late. The door is locked forever. It's like trying to buy a house insurance after the fire has already started. So this isn't something you do one day. This is something you do this week. Now let me show you exactly what an LPA covers, because it's not just one document. It's actually split into two very different types of protection, and understanding the difference could save your family from making a critical mistake. So here is something that surprises most people when they first learn about LPAs. It's not one document, it's two completely separate legal documents. And most people only get one of them, which leaves them dangerously exposed. Let me show you why both matter and which one you absolutely cannot afford to skip. The first type is called Property and Financial Affairs LPA. I call this your financial shield. This document lets your chosen attorney manage everything to do with your money and property. We are talking about managing your bank account, your savings, your investment, your mortgage, and yes, including your ISA. They can even sell your home if you need to pay for care home. Basically, anything that touches your finances, this document covers it. But here is what makes this LPA incredibly powerful, and this is something most people don't realize. With your explicit permission, this LPA can be used as soon as it's registered, even while you are still perfectly healthy and capable. So let's say you are physically recovering from a surgery, or you are traveling abroad for 6 months, or you are just finding it difficult to manage complex finances as you get older. Your attorney can step in and help you right now, not just in some future emergency. And this is why I set up mine even though I'm only in my 40s and perfectly healthy. It's not just an incapacity plan. It's a practical tool for life. The second type is Health and Welfare LPA. This is your healthcare voice. This document gives your attorney the power to make decisions about your personal care and medical treatment. This includes your daily routine, what you eat, what you wear, where you live, decisions about medical treatment and procedures, whether you move into a care home and which one. And this is the big one. Decisions about life-sustaining treatment. That last point, life-sustaining treatment, that's about whether doctors can continue treatment that's keeping you alive or whether they let you go peacefully. It's the most profound decision anyone could ever make on your behalf. And here is the critical difference between these two LPAs. The Health and Welfare LPA can only be used when you have actually lost the mental capacity to make that specific decision for yourself. Your attorney can't use it while you are still capable, even if you are physically unwell. So it's purely a safety net for when you genuinely can't speak for yourself. But when that moment comes, it's absolutely priceless. Alright, so now you understand the two types of protection. But here is the question I often get asked. Suman, do I need both or can I just get one? Let me answer that by showing you what happens if you don't have an LPA. Because the alternative isn't just inconvenience, it's financial and emotional catastrophe. Before you do anything else, there are two non-negotiable rules about LPAs that you absolutely must understand. Break either of these two rules and you will find yourself in a legal nightmare that could cost your family tens of thousands of pounds over a year of hell. Rule number one, you must create an LPA while you still have mental capacity. Mental capacity means you can understand the information relevant to a decision, you can weigh your options, and you can communicate your choice, whether by speaking, signing, or even blinking. Once you have lost that capacity, even temporarily, it's too late. The door slams shut forever. You cannot create an LPA for someone who has already lost capacity. You cannot do it on their behalf. The law is crystal clear on this. And here is what makes this so cruel. The people who need LPAs the most, people with dementia, people who have had stroke, they are the ones who can no longer create them. That's why this isn't something you do when you need it. It's something you do before you need it. It's like a seatbelt. You put it on before the crash, not after. So if you are watching this and you are thinking, I will sort this out next year or I will do it when I'm older, please don't. Do this week because you never know when too late arrives. Rule number 2. If you don't have an LPA, the only alternative is the court of protection. And trust me, you do not want to go down that road. The court of protection is the government's default system for making decisions for people who lack capacity. And it is a bureaucratic nightmare. Let me break down exactly what happens if your family has to go through this process. First, you lose all choice. With an LPA, you choose who manages your affairs, but with the court of protection, a judge decides. And it might not be the person you would have wanted. Second, the delays are catastrophic. The process typically takes between 6 to 12 months, sometimes even longer. And during that entire time, your family is in limbo. Bills are piling up, the mortgage is going unpaid, your care home costs are mounting, and nobody can access your money to fix it. Imagine your spouse unable to pay your care home, watching the debt pile up month after month while they wait for a court to give them permission to use your own money. Third, the cost is staggering. You are looking at court fees, legal fees, and then ongoing annual supervision fees that the Office of the Public Guardian charges to monitor the deputy. Compare that to a LPA which costs £82 to register, soon to be £92, and you pay once. That's it. No annual fee, no court cost, no legal bills, and LPA cost less than a nice dinner out. The court of protection route cost more than a family holiday. But here is what really keeps me up at night. It's not just one problem. It's a cascade. First, your loved one loses capacity. That's crisis number 1. Then the family realizes there is no LPA. Crisis number 2. Then they start the court of protection process. Crisis number 3. Then the bank freezes the bank account. Crisis number 4. Then bills go unpaid. Crisis number 5. And then family members start arguing about who should be in charge. Crisis number 6. And LPA acts as a fire break. It stops that cascade before it even starts. One simple document created in 15 minutes prevents all 6 of this crisis. So when people ask me, Suman, do I really need this? The answer is you can't afford not to have it. Now, if you are an NRI like me, a non-resident Indian living in the UK, there is an extra layer of complexity that most financial advisors won't tell you about. And if you get this wrong, you could end up with an LPA that's legally valid but practically useless when your family needs it the most. Here is the critical thing you need to understand. An LPA is a UK legal document. It gives authority to act within the UK legal and financial system. So if you appoint your brother in Mumbai as your attorney, yes, it's legally valid, but practically he is going to face massive barriers. So please do remember that if you're doing power of attorney, then your attorney should be based in the UK. It could be your family member, it could be your trusted friend, but make sure they are based in the UK to make the process seamless. And remember, you can also add your family members in India as a replacement attorney. So that's possible, but your primary attorney should ideally be based in the UK. Now I know navigating all of this UK specific rules as an immigrant is tough. And that's exactly why I created a free community for NRIs and UK investors like us. It's a space where we discuss these exact issues LPA, ISA, pension, tax planning. It's completely free to join and the link is in the description box below. We have got doctors, engineers, consultants, business owners. All of us are trying to build and protect our wealth in the UK. Alright, now that you understand why an LPA is critical and who should you appoint, let's get into the practical part. I am going to show you 3 different ways you can create your LPA, including the method I used that saved me over £700 compared to using a solicitor. So you are convinced you need an LPA. Great. So how do you actually get one? You have 3 options and here is what nobody tells you. 2 of them are terrible choices for most people. Let me show you why and reveal which path I took to save over £700 while still getting expert level protection. Option 1 is use a traditional high street solicitor. This is the most conventional route. You book an appointment, sit down with a solicitor and they draft your LPA. They handle the entire process for you. The advantage, you get personalized legal advice. If you have a complicated family situation, maybe you are in a second marriage and have children from the first marriage, or you have complex business situation, then this could be an option for you. But here is the catch. Solicitor fees for LPA preparation typically range from £400 to over £1,000 per document. And remember, you need 2 documents, one for finance, one for healthcare. So for a couple, you are looking at almost £2,000 just to get the basic LPAs set up. Plus it's slow, multiple appointments, back and forth email, waiting for draft. For most people with straightforward situation, this is a massive overkill. It's like you are paying for a Rolls Royce when reliable Toyota could do the job perfectly. Option 2. Use the free government DIY portal. The UK government provides free forms and an online tool that lets you create your LPA yourself. The only cost is £82 registration fee per document, soon to be £92 from November 17th. On paper, this sounds perfect, right? Free, official, straightforward. But here is the brutal reality. The government rejects around 50,000 LP applications every single year because of simple mistakes. And here is what kills me. If your application gets rejected, you are looking at months of delays. You might have to pay the registration fee again. And during that time, you have zero protection. So yes, it's free, but the risk of getting it wrong and the cost of delays, for most people, it's just not worth it. Option 3. Use a specialist online LPA provider, and this is the route that I took. These services sit in the sweet spot between expensive solicitor and risky DIY. They guide you through the process with plain English questions, generate your forms automatically, and this is the killer feature. They check your application for errors before you submit it. The cost is typically around £99 per document. So for both LPAs, you are looking at around £200 in service fees plus the 164 government registration fee. Total of around £360 for the payer. Compare that to £1,800 for a solicitor and you are saving over 80% while still getting expert protection. But here is what really sold me on this approach. The expert review. Before you send anything to the government, a specialist reviews your form to catch those common mistakes. The wrong signing order, the invalid witness, the contradictory instructions. This review service is what closes the gap between free but risky and expensive but safe. You get the safety without the massive cost. So which option should you choose? Here is my honest recommendation. Choose a solicitor if you have a very complex family situation or significant business assets. Choose the DIY route if you are extremely detail oriented and willing to accept the rejection risk. But for 90% of people watching this, choose an online service. It's the Goldilocks option. Not too expensive, not too risky, just right. Now, before I show you this platform, I want to be completely transparent with you. This video is sponsored by Power of Attorney Online. They are the service I personally used to create my own LPA, and they have kindly supported this video to help educate our community about this critical topic. Their goal is to remove the barriers of complexity, confusion, and cost that stop people from protecting themselves. So let me show you exactly how it works. I am going to walk you through the entire process so you can see how easy it is. So this is the Power of Attorney online homepage. Clean, simple, no overwhelming, complex legal jargon. You start by clicking Get Started, and the first thing it asks is which type of LPA you want to create. You can choose just the financial one or the health one, or what I recommend is you do both because that's what gives you full coverage. Now look at this progress bar at the top. You can see exactly where you are in the process. 8 simple steps, no surprises. This is what I love about this platform. It breaks down complex legal process into bite-sized, manageable chunks. Step 1 asks for your basic details, name, date of birth, address. Notice this little question mark icons. If you are not sure about anything, you can hover your mouse over them and get instant explanation in plain English. Step 2 is where you choose your attorneys. You can appoint up to 4 attorneys. And here is where it gets smart. It explains each option clearly. Jointly and severally means they can act independently, which is the most flexible option. This is crucial. If you choose jointly and one attorney dies or can't act, your entire LPA becomes invalid unless you have appointed replacement attorneys. The platform explains all of this as you go. Now we get the certificate provider. Remember, this is the independent person who confirms you understand what you are doing and aren't being pressurized. The platform clearly explains who can and cannot be your certificate provider. It even has a built-in checker to make sure you don't accidentally choose someone who's not allowed. See, it's actively preventing you from making the mistakes that get applications rejected. Once you have completed all the questions, you get a comprehensive review page. Everything you have entered laid out clearly so you can double check it. And this is where the magic happens. Before you finalize anything, before you print and sign, the platform's expert team reviews your application. They check for all those common mistakes, the signing order, witness requirement, contradictory instructions. This expert review is what transforms from cheap DIY to professional grade protection at a fraction of solicitor's cost. Once the review is complete and everything is approved, you download your form as a PDF, you print them out, and this is important. You must print them because you need physical wet signatures with a pen. The platform gives you a crystal clear signing guide. It literally tells you who signs when, in what order, with step-by-step instructions. And once you have signed everything in the correct order, you post the original document to the office of the public guardian with the registration fee. From start to finish, the whole process took me around 15 minutes. Compare that to weeks of back and forth with a solicitor. Now let me tell you why the expert review feature is worth its weight in gold. Remember that statistic I mentioned earlier? 50,000 rejections per year? That's not because people are stupid. It's because of the government forms are complex and the rules are strict. Now, one quick heads up, the government is increasing the LPA registration fee from 82 to 92 pound per document on November 17th, 2025. That's an extra 20 pound if you are getting both LPAs. It's not a fortune, but if you're planning to do this anyway, getting it done before that date will save you a bit of money. My affiliate link for Power of Attorney Online is right at the top of description. If you use that link, I will earn a small commission at no extra cost to you, which helps support this channel. And whether you use my link or not, the important thing is getting it done. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Just take action this week. Alright, we have covered a lot. Now you understand what an LPA is, who to appoint, and how to create one. So let's bring this home. What do you actually need to do next? Look, I get it. Nobody likes thinking about this stuff. Nobody wants to imagine a future where they can't make their own decisions. However, This is very important and it needs to be done to help your family members when you are not in a position to make your decisions. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you already have an LPA set up? If yes, drop a comment. It might inspire someone else to take action. And if you don't have one yet, tell me honestly what's been stopping you. I read every single comment on this channel. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with one final thought. When I think about Rajesh and Priya, that couple I told you about at the start of the video, what breaks my heart isn't just what happened to them. It's that it was completely preventable. One simple document created years earlier when Rajesh was healthy would have changed everything. Priya could have accessed their money immediately. She could have paid for his care. She could have made medical decisions based on what he would have wanted. Don't let that be your family story. You have the knowledge now, you have the tools, you have the link. All you need is 15 minutes and the decision to act. Protect yourself, protect your family, do it this week. This is Dr. Suman helping you build your wealth one smart decision at a time. See you in the next video.